So you have a warm encounter with somebody, even though you're probably not going to fall in love. It's not a waste of time, it's a connection. And by meeting people and connecting, we actually become lovers. And our frequency becomes more the frequency of love, so we can attract someone else who is also radiating the frequency of love. I had to realize in the middle of my dating career that the reason I was attracting men who weren't particularly loving is because I wasn't particularly loving. And I thought I was. I mean, I was a good person. I had friends. I had a cat. I had relatively good relations with my family. Well, maybe not that good, but. So I thought I was a regular loving person, but I had to realize I'm not really. I'm judgmental. And I judge people on stupid things. And I have a weird shopping list that's about 50 things long. Because I thought, I'm older and I should get everything I want this time. So I'm going to make this list really specific. Because there are some dating coaches that will recommend that so that you can manifest this not even real person. And so I set out to become, because I could see that the dating process was encouraging me to become less loving and treat people more like commodities to buy, because we live in a consumer culture. So the traditional mainstream model of dating is a consumer model. You're shopping for what they've told you want. They've told you a good partner looks like this, talks like this, squawks like this, acts like this, has these particular moves, which can all be codified, acts this way, flirts this way, makes love this way, etc. So anyway, we go out into the dating world with this. We're looking for the same thing. We're all looking for the same thing. And a good date looks like this. So what happens is if we find somebody who looks like that, everybody wants them. I've heard people go to dating events and everyone's talking to the one person who looks the most conventionally attractive and no one else is talking to each other. There's a lot of love there that's not happening. So if we become more loving, are looking actually at other people with a loving point of view, we can attract someone else who's loving. When I was half loving, I attracted men who were half loving. I had to really tell myself the truth. So then I started practicing dating. How can I be as loving as possible with this person? Even though if my mind starts telling me a checklist, I'll go, I probably won't end up with this person, which probably won't. I dated 150 guys before I met the love of my life. And that's not even how many in my whole life. But anyway, how can I use this as a process to raise my ability to be more loving, less judgmental, more really feeling the essence of the person? If I can get more into essence, I can attract essence. So I could be tantrically dating. If my body tells me this isn't a safe person, I can get out as soon as possible. But if they're safe, how can I just enjoy and raise my own frequency to become more loving? Might as well do it. And then dating's never a waste of time. People say, God, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of dating. Well, it does get boring if you're doing it in the conventional way because you're never meeting people that meet your criteria. But if you're dating in a way where I'm just meeting people and trying to have as rich of an encounter as possible no matter what, I can use that time to make the world a better place. Exactly, that's the point. It takes you out of your body so that you're not listening anymore to what your body says. This is exactly the point. Okay? Because when we're in this analytical frame of mind, we're not seeing people as people. We're seeing them as a lot what we've been sold by advertising. We're seeing them as whether or not they're good candidates for something that looks like something. It's a mental process. It doesn't have anything to do with love. Yes, after we encounter somebody, we're eventually going to go, is this going to work or not? But if we're going just on the analytic thing, we end up in relationships where a couple years later we're going, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I didn't stop and ask the question if he's kind. I was so busy thinking about what he looks like and if my friends will be impressed. Is he a kind human being, etc.? Okay, do I even like sitting in the same room with this person? I was in relationships for years with people and I realized couldn't even, right? I don't even feel comfortable in the same room with them. They come in and I get crabby. But I never noticed that because all relationships are high at the beginning, right? Or we wouldn't get into them, and then I didn't pay attention. So I was looking for the wrong thing. Do I just feel comfortable sitting and talking for 4 minutes about my life? Am I checking in with what we have in common, or am I just hot for this person because they look like who I should be hot for? Okay, so I'm suggesting that there's a way where when we put that first, you're right, it creates a tension. Let's hang out with other human beings and see who I naturally feel comfortable with, who I have a friendship with. You're lucky enough to do that first. And then, do I want to have a sexual friendship with this person? Because, who knows Dr. John Gottman? Okay, he's considered he's the leading researcher on what makes relationships work. He has this, he's a PhD and he has the Love Lab up in Seattle, and he actually sticks electrodes on couples and watches them fight and watches them interact and stuff. And he said, guess what he said is the number one quality, 70% of people say the most important quality in a relationship is the friendship. I was like, what? Wouldn't men say sex? No, men said friendship. So successful relationships are built on friendship, but in our consumer culture, we're saying friendship is the death of sexual attraction. And I beg to differ. There's a common myth that friendship and sexuality are two. If you're friends with somebody you can't be sexually attracted to them, it will destroy the sexual attraction. I say that's brainwashing. Okay? You can find out for yourself, but that's the idea of being friends first that I experienced at the ashram isn't popular here, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Okay, because Greg and I are best friends and you would love to have our sex life. Just saying.